The best prophets lead you up to the curtain and let you peer through for yourself. Frank Herbert. Good evening, everybody. All right. Well, hopefully you had your Game of Thrones fix, but we won't talk about that, although Game of Thrones does have its little tidbits of prophecy, don't it? We'll see if that actually holds true at all. I know the show is a lot different than the book. Tonight, I am going to focus a little bit on some prophecies and some of the things that I was reading on mainstream, I guess, news outlets and whatever. They had quite a bit of predictions, but you know what? All these predictions that were predicted, no one was saying, hey, this is going to happen. It's always until after it happens that people say, hey, someone predicted this. So it looks like there is a limit to predictions. It won't tell you exactly when. And anytime someone says when and they get it wrong, well, most people don't listen to them. I would hope not, but I think some people do. They'll go, oh, he was just wrong that time. You know, the people who predicted end of the world, like Harold Camping. I guess he didn't even predict his own death, did he? The thing about the predictions of people who predict the end of the world, they've always gotten it wrong so far. And anyone who wants to make a bet, if they're like the end of the world's tomorrow, I'll take that bet. It's not gonna end tomorrow. Like end of day that people say. If someone says they'll predict it that it's gonna end in 1,000 years, no one will even be ready for that or really care right now. So to make it dire, most predictions about the end of the world well usually happens in their lifetime or someone's lifetime. But let's not get into that. Of course, everyone heard of Nostradamus. I always did as a kid. I wonder if I should look back on some of the stuff. It always seems so vague. But then someone was talking about an Argentinian prophet, so I had to go looking for a bit, and I came across someone. This is Sputnik News. Researcher Bibiana Bryson regards hundreds of prophetic paintings by Argentinian Benjamin Solari Vicini, sorry, claims the artist managed to predict the blaze in Paris or Perry Cathedral. Sorry, I don't know sometimes whether I should just say it the American English way or try to say it the way that the wherever the country of origin is. And you know, I don't think it can get so vague. You would think that they'd put the painting up to see. Anyways, I had to kind of look and see if there are anything. There's like amazing prophecies. NewDawnMagazine.com. So we'll look at that. We'll look at the paintings of Benjamin Solari Pervicini. These are the drawings. He's, I don't know. I'd like to say I might even be a better artist, but I'm not sure. I'm not that good at artwork or drawings, but I think this guy was more focused on the prophecies than the drawings and art. And of course, I won't be able to read any of this because I don't know how to read that language. Let's see. Anyways, since we're not going to be able to figure things out in drawings, let's just see what they say. Okay. Oh, I already clicked on here before. All right. So that's the fella, I think. Where's that Johann W. von Goethe? Johann. Can never say things right. Okay. It says here, this is the story of a most unassuming modern prophet, Benjamin Solari Paravicini. I guess it's going to be easier calling him BSP. So BSP was born in Buenos Aires, Argentina in 1898 and died in 1974 at the age of 76. He was a painter and sculptor. Okay, hopefully those drawings weren't really his. And came from a traditional well-to-do family, held various posts with the Buenos Aires, blah, blah, blah. All right. Let's get to some meat and potatoes stuff. Okay, so nothing of the sort. He would suddenly become inspired by a feeling, and his guardian angel would send him one of many messages that he felt compelled to draw in pencil or charcoal in the simplest of forms, producing an image, often rather naive, to which he would add his written explanation. He shaped more than 700 of these messages in his native Argentina. Most of these messages were revealed to him in the 1940s and 50s, but he continued to receive them just before his death in the 1970s. All right, let's see. Oh, excuse me. Thus, with time, his psychographies, as he called these images and texts, were found to predict many highly dramatic events of the modern world: the fall of Hitler and Mussolini after World War II, the rise of Castro in Cuba, satellite communications, the destruction of World Trade Center Twin Towers in New York City, 9/11, artificial heart transplants, the atomic bomb. Well, if this is true, then the conspiracy theory that there is no such thing as nuclear weapons is proven false by prophecy. Okay, let's see. Can there be an example? I guess there's just the written part. Okay. I want to see this. Let's see. What's the best one? I'm just trying to find it. 2012 London Olympics. Oh my goodness. Interplanetary vessels come to Earth in peace, 1960. I guess, well, Earth ain't flat then, huh? If there's outer space. Earthbound civilization includes a lost civilization that was far superior to the ones that followed it. Or it could have been interpreted wrong. Let's see. Oh, more interplanetary stuff. Submerged in South Pole, one to appear in the North Pole in a matter of seconds. Extraterrestrial vehicles. I don't know about this. All right, so we could read more about BSP. I'm always in the take. I don't know what you guys think, and feel free to join me in the Zoom chat if you want. Was it the ancient Greeks, or maybe it was something else that they said? You know, everything was. It's about fate or free will, right? If everything has been planned since the get-go, so if you had a fate aligned with yourself, you could do whatever you try to do to avert that fate, but in the end, you're gonna pretty much fulfill that part of your prophecy or whatever it is. And that was one of those things that always happened in those stories. They would say, "Hey, okay, you're prophesized to do this and this and that," and the person goes, "Okay, now I know about it. Now I know about my fate, and I don't like how I end up or whatever. I'm gonna do everything I can to avoid that fate." And then it ends up, they think they're gonna get away with it, and then avoid that fate, and lo and behold, at the end, they are fated to do exactly what they were fated to do, even though they tried however they could to avoid it. But then why? It's like, why do anything at all? And those stories, I always wonder, is like, if the person killed themselves, then obviously that wouldn't happen anymore. So, but then that would make that give a story, right? So of course these are just stories. I would think that there is no such thing as fate or predictions or prophecies. I think it's a little bit too difficult. Even my predictions, it's not based on spirits or guardians or even mythological textbooks. It's just or feelings, sometimes feelings, but I just kind of say, that's what I feel. That's about it. That's as much leverage as I give it. But there are things that seem just very logical and smart. Just like when I predicted Hillary Clinton will run 2020, that just seems like a given, and she's gonna run late. Bill Clinton was the one that ran the latest of all presidents and got the nomination, and he won the presidency. Hillary Clinton came second, running the latest, and she didn't win. But look, both the Clintons ran late, so don't be surprised if Hillary Clinton runs. And plus, everyone knows that Hillary Clinton, the longer she stays running in a campaign, the less her favorability rating becomes. So, of course, she's going to go ahead and run late. And there's money for it. If the idea for her is to gain money and hopefully more power, she's definitely the one who's going to want that. And Clinton Foundation isn't going anywhere. Heck, I think the Democrats still love her because she can raise money. And they probably don't like Bernie Sanders. If he's going to be the potential nominee, she'll probably come in and say, look, nobody's going to beat Bernie Sanders, but I beat Bernie Sanders in 2016, so I'll beat him. And then she's going to say, I'm going to beat Donald Trump. I beat him last time. Yeah. This whole thing about, what is that? The states, the count. It's, dang, I can't remember. But like, she'll say, I won the popular vote. I'm telling you, she's going to win. Not legitimately, but she's going to win. Not that, politics and voting is legitimate nowadays anyway. All right, so less about Charles Taze. I kind of want to look at prophecies that they say have come true. So I just typed in Google prophecies that have come true. Let's see if there's been any prophecies that have come true. There's even stuff. All right, livingwaters.com. I don't know exactly what they are, but I've seen them around. BBC. That's gonna be just the corporate. Mainstream, and then edgarcasey.org. Of course, Edgar Cayce is well known theosophist and I guess prophet, person who could predict the future. Okay, this is a lot like, look, this is territory way far further and deeper than rabbit holes, because yeah, they are. But hey, it's interesting to look at them. The prophecies persuade people to believe. Yeah, they do. But let's see. because I would probably be a believer if these prophecies came true. So let's not go into these. Let's go into 1,000-year predictions that came true by BBC. And actually, if things came true in that regard, it wouldn't be a belief. People would just know it. Digital color photography, the rising height of Americans, mobile phones. Ah, that's interesting. Or they would kind of give more of an idea. Basically, wireless telegraph and telegraph circuits will span the world. A husband in the middle of the Atlantic will be able to converse with his wife sitting in her boudoir. Chicago, I don't think those exist anymore. I just don't know what they are. We'll be able to telephone to China quite as readily as we now talk from New York to Brooklyn. Watkins, I guess. They don't really give you much of who said that, but I guess it's Watkins's prophecy. Pre-prepared meals, slowing population growth. Is it really slowing? I thought it was. I guess it is slowing nowadays, isn't it? Hothouse vegetables, television, tanks, and bigger fruit, and Asila Express. I don't know. Is it? Do we really have that? I guess we do. Boston, Washington, D.C. Wow. That's great. Technology is something else. You know, technology, almost anybody can predict technology, in my opinion. So let's not do any of that. Let's see. Edgar Casey, sleeping prophet. Yes, that's right. He had to be asleep. These were his dreams. Hi, Kathy. How's it going? The ARE makes a ton of money off Casey. I ended up there back in 1998. All right. Let's take a look. Because I read a lot of the stuff with Edgar Casey. It's just one of those rabbit holes. All right. Stock market crash from 1929. But let's see. So Casey stated we may expect a considerable break in bear market. See, this issue being between those of the reserves of nations and of individuals will cause, unless and other more stable banking conditions come to relief, a great disturbance in financial circles. This warning has been given. See, but the thing is, I can give a prophecy of that extent as well. Sometime in the very future, we're going to have an economic crisis. I mean, anybody can make that prediction. But giving it a date and like a month and a year, now that that would be pretty amazing. And if anyone could do that, they would be insanely wealthy afterwards if things were true. But didn't we hear that some people actually made a lot of money about everything in the 2008 financial crisis? On a bus going to Virginia Beach for vacation. You gotta get a camera or a smartphone so you can call in. You know, you can call in. It's free. You don't need a camera. Oh, pole shift. Oof. See, the thing about the pole shift, it's not a flat earth thing. Let's see. Could be a flat earth thing. No, probably not. And how would we know a pole shift? Is there like a... Do they give a scientific breakdown of what exactly happens in a pole shift that we could record? I mean, if it happens only like a couple thousand years, maybe it'd be a good thing to record, like videotape and test and experiment and all this other stuff. But we don't. All we hear in the news, oh, the North Pole is moving. Oh, they're shifting. Oh, you don't have to worry about it. You won't even notice a difference. It's great. We won't notice a dang difference, but they're going to tell us it's happening. Convergence of communications companies, more tech, business. Yeah, things converge. The life of the scenes. Like I'm pretty skeptical. I know that. And how did I end up being a flat earther? That's an interesting one, huh? All right. Let's see. Life of the Essenes. I don't know exactly that is. A sect. The first of the Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered in 1947, 2 years after Edgar Casey's death. 171 different readings. Oh, that's pretty interesting. Blood used as a diagnostic tool, La Nina and El Nino effect. No. Hi, Cloveny. How's it going? All right. You asked me earlier if I was going to do a live stream, so it is. If you want to come on in, or talk about what you want to talk about, I'm still just kind of going through. I did do, so it's just kind of on prophecies and predictions. So I did one on ancient Asia, Mayan, Aztec, African, Native American, and that's kind of where I'm going to go at. Because I kind of know a lot of the prophecies of the Abrahamic religion and things like that. Those are pretty common knowledge nowadays. All right, let's see. Oh, ancient prophecy accurately predicted the future. Okay, more church stuff. And I don't like pop-ups, so screw that. Let's see. Like ancient Asian prophecies, and I don't really get much. Prophetic texts are known as Chen. Maybe we'll look at the wiki, see if they have any good stuff. Kathy B, beginning in about 1990, my life took a major turn. Mine took one, I don't know, I guess 3 years ago. It's still turning, it looks like. Alright, so a prophecy in Wikipedia is a message that is claimed by a prophet to have been communicated to them by a god. Excuse me. Such messages typically involve inspiration, interpretation, or revelation of divine will concerning the prophet's social world and events to come, compared to divine knowledge. All known ancient cultures had prophets who delivered prophecies. See, that's what I'm looking for. All right. Everything's creaky. My chair, my mouse. This is just weird. All right. Maimonides, I don't know who that is, suggests that prophecy is, in truth and reality, an emanation sent forth by a divine being through the medium of active intellect in the first instance to man's rational faculty and then to his imaginative faculty. The view of Maimonides closely related to the definition by Al-Farabi, who developed the theory of prophecy in Islam. Much of the activity of Old Testament prophets involved conditional warnings rather than immutable futures. A summary of a standard Old Testament prophetic formula might run: repent of sin X and turn to righteousness, otherwise consequence Y will occur. It's a little bit too easy, in my opinion. do your crimes, repent, and you shall go to heaven. Forget all the crimes you did. Don't worry about that. I don't like that idea, in my opinion. St. Paul emphasizes edification, exhortation, and comfort in the definition of prophesying. The Catholic Encyclopedia, I know the E is silent, I should just call it Encyclopedia, defines the Christian conception of prophecy as understood in its strict sense. It means the foreknowledge of future events, though it may sometimes apply to past events of which there is no memory, and to present hidden things which cannot be known by the natural light of reason. That's very esoteric and occult. According to Western esotericist Rosemary Guiley, clairvoyance has been used as an adjunct to divination, prophecy, and magic. Ooh. Okay, modern Western esoteric research in prophecy is a pseudoscience. I don't think Nathan Oakley would like this. In general, a diviner's foretelling of a prophetic prediction of the future does not adhere to the scientific method, therefore is no object of science. Duh. Alright, from a skeptical point of view, a Latin maxim exists: prophecy written after the fact. The Jewish Torah already deals with the topic of the false prophet. Baha'i faith. Oh, we're going to go through a whole lot over here. Let's see if any of them become interesting. We're all going to just find these in mainstream sources anyway. In 1863, oh man, I don't know how to say any of that stuff. The founder of the Baha'i faith claimed to have been promised messianic figure of all previous religions and a manifestation of God, a type of prophet in the Baha'i writings that serves as intermediary between the divine and humanity, and who speaks with the voice of a god. He claimed that while being imprisoned in Sayachal in Iran, he underwent a series of mystical experiences, including having a vision of the Maid of Heaven, who told him of his divine mission and a promise of divine assistance. That's interesting. Maid of Heaven. I've never heard that term before, so here we go. Arabic refers to a vision that Baha'u'llah, founder of the Baha'i faith. Look, I'm going to have to look into this. Just a quickie. Who is this guy? 1817 to 1882. Persian religious leader, prophet, and founder of the Baha'i faith. What is the Baha'i faith? Baha'i faith is a religion teaching the essential worth of all religions and the unity and equality of all people. It's not bad. That there would soon be a prophet in the same way of Jesus or Muhammad. And he got banished because of those. That's kind of interesting. Maybe I'll have to go more into that. I've never really dove into the Baha'i faith. Okay, let's see. In August 1852, during the height of the persecutions of the followers of the Bab, Baha'u'llah was arrested in Tehran with about 30 or more other Babis. He was cast into the underground dungeon nearby the court of the Shah, known as the Sayashal, October 1852. After 2 months had passed in the gloom and stench of the dungeon, he had a vision of a heavenly maiden. I think I would probably have a vision similar to that if I was in a dungeon for 2 months. But let's see. I'm wondering if it's any correlation maybe to the ayahuasca experience. We'll see. While engulfed in tribulations, I heard a most sweet voice calling above my head. My face I beheld a maiden, the embodiment of the remembrance of the name of my Lord, suspended in the air before me. So rejoiced was she in her very soul that her countenance shone with the ornament of the good pleasure of God, and her cheeks glowed with the brightness of the all-merciful. Betwixt earth and heaven she was raising a call which captivated the hearts and minds of men. She was imparting to both my inward and outer being tidings which rejoiced my soul and the soul of God's honored service. Pointing with her finger unto my head, she addressed all who are in heaven and all who are on earth, saying, by God, this is the best beloved of the worlds, and yet ye comprehend not. This is the beauty of God amongst you, and the God and the power of his sovereignty within you could ye but understand. The ayahuasca mother would have made him understand very simply. I don't think it's the same experience. Very fancy words. Can there be a prophet that just kind of blows down simply? I mean, can you imagine Donald Trump becoming a prophet? It's like, in the future, and I'm saying in the future. Yeah, I can't do a Donald Trump expression, but you know what I mean. He's gonna say it so simply, and he's like, and this apparition. I don't think he would even say apparition. And this spirit came and told me the second greatest book ever. I can't do an impression of Trump. I'm sorry. I wish I could. Let's see. Frozen. Frozen? No, it's not Frozen. Oh, shit. Is it Frozen? No, it's not Frozen, is it? Well, shit. It does look Frozen. I'm fine. That's fine. Alright, give me a second. Alright, that's better. That's just some weird stuff going on. You guys probably missed that whole part. Okay. Okay, there we go. Some weird stuff going on over here. Anyways, if you guys, I'll keep an eye on that. That is weird. I was just going over the Baha'i faith, and I don't know, the Maid of Heaven, not quite ayahuasca's mother, but and very, very, very wordy descriptions. You know, I would love to have like I was saying before, like a Donald Trump description. You know, in the future, there will be a great wall, and that wall will be built by someone who wrote the second greatest book of all. And this beautiful, it's like my daughter, beautiful spirit came. You know, can you imagine Donald Trump as a prophet? I don't think Donald Trump is the type who become prophets. All right, Buddhism. The Hedong Kosong John records that the king of Bofong of Sia. Sounds a little bit like Korean, but had the desire to promulgate Buddhism as the state religion. However, officials in his court opposed him. In the 14th year of his reign, Beofeng's Grand Secretary Chedon devised a strategy to overcome court opposition. Schemed with the king, convincing him to make a proclamation granting Buddhism official state sanction using the royal seal. Chedon told the king to deny having made such a proclamation when the opposing officials received it and demanded an explanation. Instead, Chedon would confess. So just a lot of scheming. So scheming to make things happen. Let's not make that as like a prediction. It's kind of like now they'll scheme and make predictions, and they'll be like, "See, I told you so," but they're the ones who made it all happen through they. Sorry, I'm kind of out of it today. I don't know what it is. It's just I need some upbeat is what I need. I need something get me going. Whew. I gotta get out of this rut, whatever it is. Maybe it's a storm. Maybe it was something. But like I'm not feeling it, you know that normal every day where you're just kind of feeling it. You're like ready to go. I'm just kind of like I'm ready to go to sleep. It's not even 1. It's like 12:30. We could skip Christianity. We've gone through it. The most famous Chinese prophecies, d.tube, which I never heard of. Maybe if I was Chinese, I would know about it. It's a Chinese prophecy book from the 7th century Tang dynasty. I wonder if they prophesied Tang. The book is known for predicting the future of China. Okay, so it's not going to be that important anywhere else. Let's see. I guess we don't really know what's going on in China in the first place, so let's skip this one. Oh, excuse me. The Saint movement, Islam, Judaism. Yeah, we've gone through so many of those. Native American prophecy. There exists a problem in verifying most Native American prophecies that remain primarily in oral tradition, yes. And thus, there's no way to cite references where writings have been committed to paper. In this system, the best reference is an elder who acts as a repository of the accumulated wisdom of their tradition. In another type of example, it is recorded that there are 3 Dogrid prophets who had claimed to have been divinely inspired to bring the message of Christianity's God to their people. Oof. All right, let's. This wiki is killing me. Let's go to Native American prophecies. Or the Baha'i. Yeah. Sometimes I just like to look at the images. Sometimes they'll give a better description. For example, look, Hopi prophecies, prophecy rock, which I never heard of. I don't know what prophecy rock is. And this goes to crystallinks.com. Hopi elders pass warnings and prophecies from generation to generation through oral traditions and reference to ancient rock pictographs and tablets. An ancient Hopi Indian prophecy states when the blue star Kachina makes its appearance in the heavens, the 5th world will emerge. I don't know what the 5th world or blue star Kachina is. Okay. This will be the day of purification. I don't know what purification is in that term. The Hopi name for the star Sirius is blue star Kachina. It will come when the Sesquasaha blue star Kachina dances in the plaza and removes its mask. Oh, in ancient Indian theory, the blue Kachinas are aliens. Let's hope not. Alright, that's some serious prophecy. Get it? Serious prophecy. Oh boy. Let's see. Reality is a metaphor in which we quest to find answers to the greater truth of who we are and why we are here. Yes. Something in our souls tells us that change is happening on a global consciousness level. The blue frequency is part of that. Sirius is Isis, rebirth of consciousness. Oh, here we go with the Isis. Is this Hopi or is this something else? Blue links to higher future frequencies of consciousness as we spiral up through the patterns of sacred geometry. Okay, so we're going back into Mystery Babylon. That's weird. There's Prophecy Rock near Arizona. Let's say Arizona. There's a petroglyph known as Prophecy Rock, which symbolizes many Hopi prophecies. Interesting. I wish I could see the rock, but you can see how there's the Nazi swastika, but it's the reverse. Oh, of course, you guys know all about that. Kathy, much of the newer Hopi prophecy has been changed on the net. I wouldn't be surprised. It feels like everything in the internet, as far as like the main stuff, don't know what to think. You just kind of have to go with it, really. Can't really just trust the information. You just gotta just read the information, see where it intersects with something else, maybe. Okay, so large human figure on the left is the Great Spirit. The bow in his left hand represents his instructions to the Hopi to lay down their weapons. The vertical line to the right of the Great Spirit is a time scale in 1,000 years. The point at which the Great Spirit touches the line is the time of his return. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something. The life path established by the Great Spirit divides into lower, narrow path of continuous life in harmony with nature and wide, upper road of white man's scientific achievements. The bar between the paths above the cross is coming of white men. The cross is that of Christianity. Okay. Circle below the cross represents the continuous path of life. The 4 small human figures on the upper road represent, on one level, the past 3 worlds and the present. On another level, the figures indicate some of the Hopi will travel the white man's path, having been seduced by its glamour. The 2 circles on the lower path are the great shaking of the earth, World Wars I and II. The swastika in the sun and the Celtic cross represent the 2 helpers of Pahana, the true white brother. A short line that returns to the straight path of life is the last chance for people to turn back to nature before the upper road disintegrates and dissipates. A small circle above the path of life after the last chance is the great purification, after which corn will grow in abundance again when the Great Spirit returns, and the path of life continues forever. The Hopi shield in the lower right corner symbolizes the earth and the 4 corners area where the Hopi have been reserved. The arms of the cross also represent the 4 directions in which they migrated according to the instructions of the Great Spirit. The dots represent the 4 colors of Hopi corn and the 4 racial colors of humanity. Is there? Okay, so here's that. Just trying to get a better look, sorry. That's an interesting one. I'm gonna have to write that down. Alright, Prophecy Rock is good. Watch. Let's see, give me a second, Kathy. 1993. Cry of the Earth, Part 10 of 12. Hopi Delegation. Thomas. Banya. Shoot. Okay. To YouTube. Let's move that over. That's the best picture we'll get.
Itamoy happy son kanabot nan obi anjai ang paachikyo tayaya takapam yoyo kapi ang pabam hi mo wukote bi payang anjapeo itamomi ma takintak pam itamoy as awin tanakat yan ita.
This land, or Mother Earth, if we continue to misuse the power, turn away from our spiritual ways, then this mother, a living being, will shake us up. Big, greater earthquake going to hit us. She's warning us that we are not following the instructions. Great wind, destructive, cyclones, flooding different areas. And someplace it will not rain, and hailstorms, destructive. All these things, nature is going to be warning us, but we don't seem to understand, and we don't listen, and we don't want to correct ourselves. We continue to do things that are creating these problems.
No kovian jakas imaye paket yan
I might have skipped a little bit too much. Hear the beginning part of that. Because he's translating. I wasn't sure if there was going to be a translation. Sorry.
Most all the nations, all the people have different languages that live around this earth and living on this land, or Mother Earth. If we continue to misuse the power.
Okay. I agree with that.
Everything has already been taught time by time. We have known all this process has been how it's been from the beginning and out to the end. So we have everybody still have a religious and prophecy. What everybody they are the same. So it's no more any difference. Those who are Christian down the village, they the one they draw this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, those Christians they draw this one. So on their Bible, it just we everybody still have that mention about all that Bible that it's just like that. So it's how we beginning from on this earth and we were heading out to the we call it everlasting life or purification, I would say. Purification. All this has been drawn. And this is the one that one-hearted person right here. All right, he's not evil. So he's still holding this line here.
Now you just intrigued my curiosity. Christian story of the Hopi. I think I might have been getting into this, but on another series, but we'll see if it matches up. Let's do the blog.worldmysteries.com first. January 5th, 2011. Hopi creation myth. The world at first was endless space in which existed only the creator Taiwa. This world had no time, no shape, and no life except in the mind of the creator. Eventually, the infinite creator created the finite Sotugnang, whom he called his nephew and whom he created as his agent to establish 9 universes. Sotugnang gathered tougher matter from the endless space to make the 9 solid worlds. Then the creator instructed him to gather together the waters from the endless space and place them on these worlds to make land and sea. When he had done that, the creator instructed him to gather together air to make winds and breezes on these worlds. The fourth act of creation with which the creator charged him, with the creation of life, Sotugnang, I don't know how to say the name, went to the world that was to first host life, and there he created Spider-Woman and gave her the power to create life. At first, Spider-Woman took some earth and mixed it with saliva to make 2 beings. Over them, she sang the creation song, and they came to life. She instructed one of them, Pakokoya, to go across the earth and solidify it. She instructed the other, Palankoiwoya, to send out sound to resonate through the earth. And so the earth vibrated with the energy of the creator. Pakwonghwa and Palangoya were especially the poles of the earth to keep it rotating. Then the spider woman made all the plants, the flowers, the bushes, and the trees. Likewise, she made the birds and animals, again using earth and singing the creation song. When all this was done, she made human beings using yellow, red, white, and black earth mixed with her saliva. Singing the creation song, she made 4 men, and then in her own form, she made 4 women. At first, they had a soft spot in their foreheads, and although it solidified, it left a space through which they could hear the voices of Sotong Nang and their creator. Because these people could not speak, Spider-Woman called on Sotugno, who gave them 4 languages. His only instructions were for them to respect the Creator and to live in harmony with him. These people spread across the earth and multiplied despite their 4 languages. In those days, they could understand each other's thoughts anyway, and for many years, they and the animals lived together as one. Eventually, however, they began to divide both the people from the animals and the people from each other, as they focused on their differences rather than their similarities. As division and suspicion became more widespread, only a few people from each of the 4 groups still remembered their creator. So Tuknang appeared before these few and told them that he and the creator would have to destroy this world, and that these few who remember the creator must travel across the land following a cloud and a star to find refuge. That's interesting. It's very similar to the creation myth. Yeah, be careful with newer posts. Yeah, it just seems very similar with the creation myths of the Old Testament. These people began their treks from the places where they lived, and they finally converged. So Tuknung appeared again. He opened a huge ant mound and told these people to go down in it to live with the ants while he destroyed the world with fire, and told them to learn from the ants while they were there. The people went down and lived with the ants, who had storms of fruit that they had gathered in the summer. And, all right. Yeah. May have to go over it again sometime. This is a very long creation myth. All right. That's, interesting. We're gonna go, let's look at something else. You know what? I'm probably gonna look over those videos that you had and see. Because again, it's really about experiences. People's experiences are going to be different than mine, but the one experience I know is the same as anyone who tries ayahuasca. There, you are going to have the same experience as anyone who's tried ayahuasca, where you get to talk with Mother, and that's all the experience of higher consciousness I can go by. There's no other that I've experienced. Maybe I will someday. Maybe I'll go down a different path of looking for certain things. But, it's just, I haven't gotten there, so I can't explore what I'm going to explore. That's the whole prophecies predictions, right? Am I fated to have these? I don't think so, but who knows? The Aztecs foresaw the end of the world. The outline. All right, let's see. Let's look at the Aztec Empire, because yeah, I'll do a separate show. Thanks, Kathy. Party pack. A load of nonsense. None of us were there. I don't know which part. The Aztecs foresaw the end of the world, but then it didn't happen. Oh, great. We know about the Maya 2012, so let's go down the Aztec. What's their end of the world prediction? So here it says the world was supposed to have ended in 2012 as foretold by a Mayan prophecy, that in the end, we got a guess, Cloven E. Hi, Cloven E. How are you doing? You may have to set up your mic and all that jazz. I don't know if you're speaking using a smartphone or if you're using a computer, but there will be an icon that looks like a microphone. Don't click on that mutes you, but click on like an up arrow or something, and you can choose your microphone and your speakers. I don't even know if you can hear me. But while we're waiting on that, let's look over the restream. Okay, cool. All right, so the world was supposed to have ended in 2012, as foretold by Mayan prophecy. That in the end, only prophesied that the Mayans would need to buy a new calendar. As the prediction went, our solar system would align with a black hole at the center of the galaxy. Psh, they didn't even believe in the heliocentric or even the globe model. Whoever this person is, let's get to the stupid Aztecs part. Come on. Okay. All right. So the Aztec apocalypse is nothing like the Christian one. It comes out of an unimaginably different history inside to build the world to the world of Greece and Rome, but it's a lot like ours. Collision with Nibiru. Oh, great. Devastating magnetic pole. They really... Oh, Dakotas, I remember that, were destroyed. Okay, so the world is not... I don't like this one. Let's look at... What's a good one? I know I'm using the dang mainstream version of things. Yeah. Let's see, Quetzalcoatl. 5 Sons, Creation Myth, and Prophecy. Alright, Clovenese, still trying to figure that out. Alright, Age of the 5th Sun. So there are 5 suns, the Earth Sun, Wind Sun, Rain Sun, Water Sun, and the Earthquake Sun. And just That's the god of fire is depicted in the center image. North, east, southwest. Don't worry, Cloven. It's if you've never used the Zoom before, it may be a little bit confusing. It just takes a while to get used to. Four directions and the axis mundi. Mesoamerican cosmology was viewed as a universe composed of 5 parts, 4 cardinal directions: east, west, south, and north, and the center. Additionally, they believed that the 5 suns were also 5 births of the world, the key to the rebirth of the world. The Great Empire was believed to be located at the center of the universe. Of course, they thought everything was flat, so it wasn't a universe of the solar system, but of the Earth. So that would make it the center. It is known as the world pillar, cosmic axis. Obviously, center of the Earth. That is the world. The importance of the axis mundi is communication. It is this point where many humans think they can communicate directly with their celestial gods. It is also the point where humans can receive blessings from their gods. The interesting fact about the axis mundi is that it is not restricted to just one point on Earth. Multiple points can be seen as the axis mundi all at the same time. Are these like gateways they might be talking about? Mountains can be the axis mundi. Oh, this is interesting. The Black Hills, because pretty close by. I wouldn't say pretty close, but it's a distance away. But still, I think it's within driving distance, within half a day, or even maybe not even half a day. Mountains are one of the more popular points where the ancients believed the earth connected to heaven. For the Sioux Indians of Dakota, excuse me, I don't know why I'm burping. The Black Hills were their center of the earth. So Japanese held that Mount Fuji was the actual connection. For the Chinese, it was a mythical mountain called Mount Kunlun, while the Hindus Hindus of India believe that it was Mount Meru and Mount Kailash. Mount Meru is located in India and Mount Kailash is found in Tibet. The Greeks believed that Mount Olympus was the connection between heaven and earth, and they had other sacred places of Earth's Phallus navel. However, they had other sacred sites of Earth's navel. These people maintained a belief in a cosmic world tree. Mount Olympus was the abode of the gods, as the Oracle of Delphi allowed direct communication with the gods. Alright. The Aztecs held that Machu Picchu was the spiritual center of the world and built their own village there for better access to their spiritual gods. Mountains come with a special quality all their own, as they are perceived to be strong, majestic, and their height makes them close to heaven. Huh. Okay. Nature can be considered to be an Aximundi. Norse mythology leads us to their belief that one tree, Yggdrasil, holds 9 different worldly systems. That's where I remember the 9 different worlds. Interesting that the Hopi in the Norse have the idea of 9 different worlds. Then the pathway could have no visible shape, and shamans were thought to have the power to travel to different worlds to learn how to heal, gain wisdom, and retrieve souls. Not to be left out, many people consider the human body to be able to have the special connection to the celestial realms. In the chakra tradition of both Hinduism and Buddhism, the human body is seen as a pillar or temple. This design enabled the adherents to conclude that meditation and prayer would allow a person to leave their bodies and commune with spirits. The idea that the human body is an axis mundi can also be seen in the Christian faith. The book of Hebrews, chapter 8, verse 10 says, "For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, said the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them into their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people." So much. I may have to dive into old textbooks. But all that stuff has probably been burned. Man. I would have thought that we could get so much information, good information, out of the internet and the digital age, and I think I've been wrong. I think there might be a few people who have collected a lot of good old books, but they haven't put that knowledge out there for everyone to see. And those who have might have changed them, or maybe omitted a lot of things. Who knows? Or maybe we just can't find them. Maybe they're there in the deeper part of the web, the deep web, but can't find them easily. Maybe we have to look at the like the 250, or why don't we use some esoteric number? Maybe the 666 result of Google. Maybe that's where we'll find things. It's just curious to see if they even have that. And this would take forever. Let's look at the end. Nope, only 19 pages. Oh well. Most collections search. You know, have you ever looked at the end of Google? Wow, that's pretty cool. PDF Writer's whole world is a single flower. This is kind of cool. I kind of like the idea of looking at the very end of Google search results. Whole world is a single flower. 365 Kongans for everyday life with questions and commentary by Zen Master San and a forward by, I don't know what that entails. Now I'm kind of curious, but don't trust that. All right, let's see. Most collections search. gtuyurte.licoricequicker.net. Hopefully it doesn't post to something I'm not supposed to share with people on YouTube. Reptilian Egyptian Islamic calendar 1982 converter owl spirit animal. Ooh, I like that. And interesting if the Native Americans attribute the owl to. Oh, great! I'm the 5 billionth search winner. Come on, can I? Is this page up? Please be there. Dang it! Yeah, we are here. That is true. We're all trying to figure things out, aren't we? Indian occult powers? Let's see. I wonder if any of... Oh, no! Damn it. I fell for it. That's why you don't look at the very end of the search results for Google. Oh, shit. Alright. Nothing good here at the end either. Alright. Let's try something here. The Horn of Africa and Prophecy. Tomorrowsworld.org. I have a bad feeling about stuff I'll try to be finding tonight, but I don't think I'll find it. That's the thing, folks, is when I go through a lot of stuff, before I go on and share people and actually look at the sites live, I try to look through them first and just pick things out that are worth mentioning. But again, that's just things that I deem as worth mentioning. And I have a different idea of what's usable or not. And, you know, a lot of people can do their own search too. Basically, what I have to say is that, oh man, excuse me. Maybe I do need to go to sleep or something. I mean, you yawn for a reason, right? Get some air, your body's telling you need to rest or something. Same effort that comes on my Droid box. Yeah. Oh boy. Maybe we prophesized trolls, and it wasn't the actual trolls. It's weird, the evolution of trolls on the internet. It used to be like a game, and then it became like trolls of like under the bridge type of trolls type of thing. It's totally different. It's like how Keck started, I guess. Keck was started by Koreans of all people. Because instead of LOL, laughing out loud, or ha 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 ha, it was Keck. And then they took it and created a frog. It's funny how things turn out. Who would have prophesized that? Of course, Kekistan had been prophesized earlier. But I don't think it's true. Jeez, you know. Oh, there's a mystic who predicted ISIS 9/11 had 2 prophecies for 2018. Did he predict that it was going to be like staged by CIA or something like that? If he did that, then it's Baba Vanga. Baba. I heard about her. Like, I would have liked someone like predicting that people will fake the roundness of the earth and going to the moon and all this other stuff. That would have been awesome. I don't think we're going to find that. Oh, we don't have to worry. The universe will end in 5079. Is there an esoteric meaning to that? Like 5 plus 7 is 12, which is 3. 3 plus 9 is 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. Digital. So it is 3. I don't know. Global hunger will start to be eradicated between 2025 and 2028. Ha! I think not. The controllers of the masses love being able to cause hunger. We're never gonna end global. Not that's globe. Flat hole hunger. Flat hole hunger is gonna be around because they're gonna say, "Hey, you need us in charge so we can eradicate hunger." You know, you could. They even calculated that you could end global hunger and it would only cost something like $17 billion a year. That's it. You can end global hunger. But do they do it? No. Where does that money go? Not to end global hunger. That's all I'll say. From 2033 to 2045, the polar ice caps will melt, causing ocean levels to rise. Isn't that what they said in like 2002? Ocean levels haven't really risen, or it's so small and minute. And they said if they did rise, well, there goes the coral reefs. Well, coral reefs are still alive. There's plenty that are dying, but they just keep moving up and up. I just, goodness gracious. And here are events that we will never get to see. So none of this really stuff matters. This is it. We got 2. And will that ever happen? No. So if these don't even happen, will any of these happen? No. I don't know. Can someone with like who's really into prophecy and predictions really kind of come in here and tell me about prophecies and predictions that really happened and not like some vague mysticism thing that was said and it's like that totally pointed out that Notre Dame was going to burn exactly on this day and year, and what follows afterwards is going to be the zombie apocalypse or something like that. Let's see, they would rather look for a black hole. Okay, keys, bad blow over here. Yeah. Don't know what to say, fellas. I just would say prophecy and predictions are the ones who make it. They make the predictions and the prophecies. If it ever came true, they would be the ones who would try to make it come true. So, and then there are the prophets and prophecies of like it's gonna happen in like 200 plus years, up to like a couple thousand. Like, will anyone even be around by then? But it's there to impress people, right? If you are, don't know. I don't think there's such a thing as fate prophecies that are like written in stone that they will happen. I think it's more of signs. It's kind of like breadcrumbs. You could toss out a couple of breadcrumbs trying to get connections somehow, whether it's connections to people, connections to thoughts or ideas, connections to whatever. And I think if someone pays attention to those connections, they'll get connected. But that doesn't necessarily mean things will pan out exactly like someone's hoping to. It's just like I don't know. It is like fishing, not like fishing. Well, it is very like fishing. Like I'm talking fishing with PH, but fishing with the FI. Fishing for fish. It's you can throw out different types of bait. It's called chumming. You get chum the water. Have a lot of fish come over and it's like, what's that smell? That sounds good. It smells good. Nothing you can eat. And you cast out your bait, and there you go. You got yourself a whole bunch of fish that come to check out the meal, free meal, and then you're gonna catch a fish. It's not necessarily like a prophecy or prediction, but it's just, yeah, you know what's gonna happen when you do this. So I think it's more like that. If you kind of know what you're doing, you're a higher being. You know, you kind of get the idea of like, these humans, they seem to be searching for a couple things all the time. It's like food, sex, entertainment. Let's just toss this out to this individual. I think I know what this individual wants, and go out there and, oh my goodness, you made a connection. And then now it's like, okay, now we gotta kind of guide him over here, and maybe guide him over here. Maybe he'll pay attention. Is like, all right, we're good. Finally got someone who might want to do something other than watch corporate mainstream media, believe in government, and that everything they're doing is fine, and, you know, muddy up the waters of the earth and make it uninhabitable, and pretend that eventually it doesn't matter, that you'll just fly up into so-called outer space and rehabilitate Mars or something like that, and we'll live on Mars in the future. Like, spend all that time just creating a habitable planet out of Mars, who could have, like, even in sci-fi fiction, science fiction, fantasy, whatever you want to call it nowadays, they always go, you know what, let's just go out there and if Mars was once alive and it's dead now, let's just make it alive again. Meanwhile, let's just kill the Earth that we have. Sounds like a great plan, people. Can't even figure. How are we gonna survive on Mars when we can't even survive on Earth, and Earth has everything going for it? I don't know why people are so excited to see Mars. There's nothing on Mars that looks very exciting. It's red and dead, and it's not pretty at all. You got plenty of pretty places on Earth. Very pretty. Not red, not dead. Green and alive, and blue and white, and a whole bunch of other colors too. Oh man. So, prophecies, predictions. Here's one. Predictions and prophecies won't come true. No matter how hard you believe it. There's that. Okay. It takes action. Belief is not an action. It's kind of a blind hope or something. Like, people can believe whatever they want. I just can't do it. Maybe it's just, let's say, I'd say predictions are, I don't know. It's just more of an idea. It's like, okay, I would say it's more of just reading the signs that are out there. And Mother Nature is probably the easiest one to read. She's the one who puts her signs up there all the time. It's not just the plants, not just the clouds, not just the sand or the dirt or the soil. You can read all those things too, but the water, the animals are pretty good. Animals are never wrong. You know, you would think that like birds, like the American robin today, or a couple days, you think they would kind of fail one year, that they just all of them would build bad nests. They'd pick a bad place to congregate, yet every year nothing bad happens. They all figure it out. They all survive. They all live. Aside from humans who just go off and want to go ahead and devastate and kill them all, well, that's a different story. Sorry, I'm kind of out of it today. I don't know what it is. It's been a tiring week, weekend too, and I think I just need to get my energy up. I think I've been told. Oh man, I will just say this. There is. I had a weird dream last night, and it was all about John Wick 3. And there are trailers for it, but it was like I was writing the story for John Wick 3, or maybe it's John Wick 4. Basically, I was just having it so that, you know how he has that professional courtesy, and he just kind of doesn't kill people that he worked with or knows him, whatever, are in that society. Anyways, that whole idea is that he survives by people respecting the professional courtesy that they got from him, because that means they're still alive. He didn't kill them, so they return the favor. So, and there's like at least from the first movie there was a couple, but of course some of them died. In the second movie, the same thing. Anyways, I'll go through some chat before I sign off. Cloven E, prophecies could just be people from a breakaway civilization, if you know what I mean. They all know the agenda of things to pass. Could be. Can't it be Earth Day is every day? Yes, it is. Without Earth, we would not be alive. We would not be here. We have no other place. Party pack, breadcrumbs like the story about Hansel and Gretel, same as us through over here, and the ancestors left breadcrumbs to get back, but the rulers hide all of that. Yeah. I don't even call them rulers. They don't rule. They don't have powers. And I guess they don't control, but they do control the masses. It's just weird thing. I don't know if it's even magic. It's not. So weird. That's another thing I kind of wanted to do tonight, but I ended up doing this because a lot of it is like I want to see prophecies, predictions, see how they go. If anything is out there that we might be able to kind of use, but there isn't anything, or maybe there is and we just don't know it. But say we have these controllers of the masses, whatever. Are they it? Are they the top dogs? Is there nothing else? Is there maybe a higher being that acts as a negative force? And if there is there a equal or greater positive force? And how come we don't see that? How come things just keep going worse and worse and worse? Because look, if there is something good out there, well, where is that good? I would have to say we have to be that good. Humans. We have to make that choice and that distinction, and then we've got a big uphill battle to climb. But everyone thinks they're good, right? Everyone, even people who are doing the duty for the evil folks, they don't think they're doing evil. They think they're doing good. It's like, oh no, we need control, we need order, we need law. But you know that the hypocrisy of it that they provide. They don't realize the hypocrisy, I don't think. Or they do, they just lie, and of course that makes them evil, but they don't think so. They might say, hey, lying is necessary. That's what they'll say. Alright, party pack. Same here, no more beliefs for me. Would rather know something, and if I don't know, I'm happy to say that rather than believe something. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just more of a philosophy that I have. It's just, if you don't believe on anything, then why do anything? But if you do believe in something, then you won't keep looking for something where it might be the actual truth. I mean, either way, not believing anything at all or believing in something totally, you're gonna stop looking for the truth, what's behind it all. So you gotta kind of be that medium, the balance, and just say, even if I do believe, I'm just gonna keep looking and see if I'm wrong. Or maybe if you don't believe anything, maybe you still look for something because there might be something that you haven't found yet, and you just made a judgment call too early. Imagine you're like, I'm 40, okay? So I don't know how many of you guys are out there, but it's like, suppose you're just, I've seen all I need to see in life. There's nothing there, and the next thing you know, you won a lottery ticket. You've traveled all over the world, and you've seen all these different things. You meet all these different people. You eat all this amazing food that you've never realized was there, especially like fruit and vegetables and different types of coffee and all this other stuff. And like, I just made a judgment call on something, and it's like, I was wrong. All right, let's see. Galaxy J1 Mini Prime. All right, well, we'll give Mini Prime a little test here. Let's see. Wink, wink. Hi, Galaxy J1 Mini Prime. Who is this? I can't hear anything. How do I get my little gray background working? There we go. That way people can at least see me. Yeah, I hear something. It's a little faint.
I'm gonna have to delete my blackjack card counter, my Android phone to install Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man. So man, I'm a fan. To be honest, I first I heard about you in I think it was Zen Garcia interview.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you guys are talking about I think it was Mount Meru or Hyperborea.
Yeah, center of the earth.
Yeah, and I'm into that stuff too, man. So I mean, like you say it yourself, no one's talking about this, and it's like, it's just amazing. Like everyone's like, I don't know. It should be like in the same level as flat Earth by now, because like this information's been on the internet for a long time.
Yeah.
So, on the prophecy part, have you heard about the mud floods?
Yeah, I heard about mud floods in Tartaria.
Yeah, man. So like, what I'm thinking is like the whole prophecy thing is just like a reset over reset over reset. So like they already know what's like, the technology, the world rulers, the beast and all that stuff. It all has to do with civilization, and they just reset the thing over and over again.
I mean,
it's very materialistic, but I mean, it always boils down to something physical, like,
Yeah. Here, I'm gonna try to adjust your volume by adding a filter. Give me a second here, and let's adjust that gain by 9. Can you try talking?
Yeah.
All right. That should be better for everybody.
Yeah. So I think it's about getting to the holy hole before you're dead. You heard that term?
Nuh-uh.
The Holy Grail in the center.
Oh, the Holy Grail?
Yeah. King Arthur and all that stuff. The Fountain of Youth.
Yeah.
For immortality.
Let me try out and see if I have it's either an image or a Word doc. But excuse me. I did a thing for, dang it, I wish I could see it. Like some numerology stuff, some
right.
I forgot if there's a specific word for it, but a couple of numbers kept coming up with North Pole. I think I found it. Let's see. Oh, gematria stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
I
did
did one too. Yeah, I mean, I did one too. Like back in my channel, I used to do that, but I think I did the video.
yeah.
I went on gematrinator.com and I looked up, the word vitriol links up with Arctic Circle, and vitriol means visit the interior of the Earth. There you'll find some alchemical thing, and then like numerology wise, Arctic Circle is like paired up.
Huh.
I know.
Well, we're gonna have to compare notes one day. Like
Okay.
for here, like there's like like Camelot
Okay.
with say Atlantis, right? The full reduction is both 24. The reverse ordinal is both 120. But the English ordinal, they're just kind of mirrored. So Atlantis 96 and Camelot 69. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But Yggdrasil is matches up with Hidden Land with full reduction and full reverse reduction. So their full reduction is both 48 and reverse full reduction is 51. But I'm not like a gematria expert. I just typed in some random things and see if it came up with like identical numbers, other things.
Yeah. I mean, neither am I, but I mean, sometimes you find amazing things.
Yeah. And but it's hard to even verify. It's like it's impossible. I mean, can you imagine? Look, if the world is indeed indubitably flat, I'd say 99% of the population thinks it's a globe with outer space and stars and moving.
Yeah. I mean, people don't care about facts. I mean, that's the reality we live in. They just care about what's popular and what gravitate more towards the crowd and society. What's relevant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just that simple. I mean, this is not really benefiting anyone. You see?
Yeah.
It's just like that.
But if they can make people believe that, and then they could probably just destroy. I mean, they have destroyed a lot of historical work, a lot of history, written accounts, and things like that. But if they can do that without people just raising an eyebrow or doing anything about it, they can easily create their own history. And I think we're going through that now. Maybe that's part of the whole Mandela effect. Is they're creating little changes and see how people react to them. And then if it's not a big reaction, I mean, most people can say it's just a Mandela effect now, but they won't ever point to
Yeah, I
it.
mean, I see the Mandela effect. Could be true. It could just be mind tricks. I mean, especially the Mandelas is like about like the logos, right? Like how they change. I mean, that's like the main one, right?
Not just logos.
I haven't really looked into it that much, but
Yeah, there's a lot out there. I mean, just like movies, lines in movies, quotes,
right.
certain depictions. Like even the Bible had like written quotes that people remembered, but some people say nope. But see, it's not everybody. And also, like for me, another one is like just the sculptures and depictions of Moses with horns. I never knew Moses had horns. It's like, doesn't that just kind of?
No, I think I remember seeing Moses with horns. I did a project back in elementary.
But did you ever question why he had horns? Why does he have horns?
I don't know. I just never did. I mean, it's I think it has to do with Pan, like the occult.
Yeah, I know, but did the Bible or any Bible specify Moses having horns?
Not to my knowledge.
And nobody would question that ever, that until like recently, the last couple of years. That
Yeah,
hey,
but what I'm saying, I saw a picture of Moses with horns, like in the internet.
yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, you're talking about like worldwide. Yeah,
yeah, worldwide, just last decade or two, it's like no one made a big outcry. Hey, why does Moses keep having horns? I mean, it's not until like just a few years it seems that people are just noticing that and going, "Hey, this
it's
is
all Baphomet. It's all Baphomet, right? So like they're trying to make that big mainstream, I guess.
yeah." I mean, we just see a lot of things, and the thing is, if you really look at the details, even for just normal people like us, why do we see all these little signs and hidden things? It's kind of like Easter eggs in movies, but these Easter eggs are just more important. Like they point to
It's
esoteric or
like it's like in the Matrix, right? Like we're like the Neos, we're like that anomaly in the system, that virus, I guess, that has to exist, or else all the all the AIs would just go mad. I don't know. What do you think? Be
maybe we spice
stationary.
things up a little or something. It in some ways, I can maybe think of it as we're. I mean, for me, like my profession before, I don't have one now. Was as like a software QA engineer, like testing the software, just find faults in it. Maybe all these little things that we're spotting, we're just the testers for the next cycle. Like you're thinking, it's like, hey, we've got a couple of issues because things aren't running smoothly this time around. Maybe we'll prep for the next one. Let's see if people catch it, and we're the ones who catch it, and we're like, they're gonna fix it for the next time. So the next cycle or the next build, the next whatever it is,
Yeah.
they're like, hey, we found all these issues. The next time, it'll be easier. No, not many more people will wake up, and not that it even matters to them. It's like, how many people do you think are really woke, and what are we gonna actually do? What can we do?
I mean, biblically, it talks about 144,000. So like when it comes to like these yuga cycles, like there's always a few that wake up and wake up others. Um, yeah, I'd say it's not even 1% of the world's population. It's mainly in like first world countries because of the internet, because of the healthcare system that we have here,
Mm-hmm.
and the way of life that we're into this type of stuff. The rest of the world could really care less. I mean, we just have a lot of commodity in these like these first world countries up in the north. So reincarnation cycle, we don't get it. Someone else will, then someone else is gonna just, whatever the outcome game is. I think it's you need to make it to the Corinth, or you need to make it to the Holy Grail. It's like we're just like consciousness, I guess, right? And like to get our immortality and not die anymore. That's probably like the aim of the game. Or else we're just gonna keep reincarnating here, like these short lifespans, until we get it. Like, what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I could see that.
Does that resonate a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, the karmic cycle just kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's everything is trying to tie
I think
into
it's
each
called
other.
the wheel of samsara. Samsara. I think that's what they
Samsara.
call it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
The wheel of fortune. We're just like gambling here. Until we all go in, or
but how important is it?
life's a gamble. I mean, I've come to that conclusion too. I mean, when it comes to like free will and stuff, that's like we probably don't even know what the true concept of free will is.
Well, I don't really see his life as a gamble. I think, I don't know. Like for humans, it's pretty simple. We attribute our things to being intelligent, but I mean, animals being so intelligent, they seem to. If it was just nature, they seem to live quite well. I mean, aside from being run over by cars all the time, like armadillos
Yeah.
and and different animals. Aside from that, like nature doesn't really throw them like anything that they can't handle, like the
Yeah, right,
storms
right. I
that
mean,
pass by
but
and
it's only humans that like hurt themselves. Like humans have addictions. They depend on the money system. Animals don't. It's like there's a very big difference. We can learn a lot from animals.
yeah.
See that?
And I don't know about this karmic cycle. Like, how important are
It has to be
individuals?
your heart, right? It has to be your heart. The weighing of the heart. I think it's like Egyptology. You know, um, it's a weighing of the heart by Anubis, so that you can go to the afterlife, back to back to the real world. Probably, I don't know, right, where you don't die.
But what's
If
the
that's even real.
end purpose of seeking the let's say the
I mean, if there's cycles here, like if there's like resets, then we're just like dying over. So we're just like dying over and over again. You know,
but what accounts to, well, I guess we could maybe the global
stay
population is a
stuck.
lie. Do you think we have like 5 billion people on earth?
I mean, I don't know, man. I mean,
Be-
no, probably not.
because if there
Based
are, then
on
what accounts for the new people? Are they more split consciousness that gets into that keeps
yeah,
splitting up? Like how?
that's very interesting. That's a very interesting viewpoint.
Yeah.
I mean, but there has to be a set like fixed number of people. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, at least what I like is having like being able to talk to other people is just kind of throw things out there and question each other on certain ideas and things like that. Um, because I just feel like even the people who do talk a lot about a lot of these things, they just have their viewpoint, but they don't really talk to just normal people. They'll talk to other people who are high up there on the subscriber and the view counts, majority of them, but their thoughts are just couldn't pretty much be the same. It's like either I don't know, I don't care, or it's it's this religion, that's it, or it's this idea and that's that. And anyone who
Yeah.
says differently or asks questions is like, no, 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 you just don't know, you just don't understand. It's like I think
Yeah.
we all don't know, we all don't understand. That's why we're in this mess, you know.
Yeah, but we all know compass points north. You have that banner, right? I think it's in your main channel. Like, I don't know. I mean, this is your main channel. I think it's Ebon.
Yep, my main channel. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, in your banner you have a Hyperborea, the Hyperborea map.
Oh,
You have
yeah, with all
four
the
rivers.
the
You have
swastikas that people
yeah
are probably like, "Oh my goodness, that guy has swastikas." They don't
yeah
even
you
think
have
about the
Sneaker in the center.
yeah. I mean, they're more focused on the swastikas and saying, "Oh man, I think Ebon's a Nazi," but that doesn't make sense because he's Asian. Is he like Asian German? Is he? They don't think about just all the other
I think
countries.
I think we're past that stage, man, in America when it comes to like stereotypes. Would you agree, or like do you think it's still like going on when it comes to like pointing out certain whatever attributes of race?
I think it still goes on. People like to put people in buckets so it's easier to explain what's going on.
Right.
I mean, if
I
like
mean,
just like
we all come from the center. We all come from the black sun. Our ancestors all come from that focal point. Like diversity. is inherent in nature. I see this type of information will make us all a little more conscious, have compassion towards.
I kind of missed the early part of that. Are you able to get your speaker volume up any higher?
I think not.
There, that's
You
a
hear
little
me
bit
good now?
better. Yeah, that's
It's
better.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to hold it up. No, I was saying like we all come from that 0 point, from that like black sun, from that black hole, that portal in the north. I was saying how like diversity is like inherent in nature, and we all knew that. We all would have more compassion towards one another and not be so divided. So like when it comes to that like that flat
Mhm.
Earth is like one thing, right? So like where you find out that the government is lying to you, that it's all government sponsored, right? Because like NASA is like faking these images. But then again, like comes to like the four continents, like Hyperborea in the center and the Black Rock, and how that's like where our ancestors come from. That's like that's the bingo one. That's the main. That's what gets me moving every day now. The center point, the swastika, right?
Yeah. It does make you kind of rethink the whole Hitler thing, but I don't know. The thing is, too many things can be changed up too so easily. It just you really can't rely on history all that much. You just have to go with finding
I
things
mean,
out.
it's either that. It's either that or like the evolution game. The Darwinian thing. The selfish gene and like status and stuff.
I have too many questions
Competition.
with
Competition.
evolution because I mean, you know how they say dinosaurs are evolved into birds. A lot of the birds these days were dinosaurs, or at least the ancestors of birds were dinosaurs. Dinosaurs didn't go extinct, and do they? So is our idea of our evolutionary process will become something like flies in the future, in a couple of 100 million years ago? I mean, 100 million years from now, or
I mean, yeah. I mean, we share DNA with about everything.
yeah.
That's what they say, right?
And again, in the age of dinosaurs, the ones who didn't evolve, like sharks and alligators and crocodiles, they're so perfect. They didn't evolve except for getting a little bit smaller in size. And it's like, how does that work? Why don't things become more like those perfect animals? Like if crocodiles and alligators are so perfect in their evolutionary process of hundreds of millions of years, they didn't change. Why didn't dinosaurs become more like crocodiles and alligators?
Yeah.
So,
Why isn't evolution still happening? Is that it?
no, it's just
Why?
because if evolution is
Or
about
like,
is to find the balance to be to survive better. Basically, it's basically survival of the fittest. So you're gonna have to adapt, and your generations are going to change through DNA mutations to adjust to the environment that they're in a little bit better, and those mutations take time. It's like, and the ones that don't make it, well, they just die off, and their genes aren't passed. Well, the ones who do keep making it, it's the ones that haven't changed at all over those hundreds of millions of years. It's like, why don't those mutations just make it so that they're more similar to those the more
right,
perfect
right.
being, the more perfect animal type, I guess you could say, for an environment. So, you know, all these millions of years, you can change into pretty much any other animal, just mutation. But instead, it'll just pick the mutation where you're gonna die off, instead of pick the mutation of something that's already living, like a alligator or a crocodile in that particular environment. Instead, you're gonna become evolved to be more of a prey because you found that niche to be a little bit better. And I don't know, it just, yeah, doesn't, a lot of things just don't make sense in the evolutionary process. If you just keep asking questions and think about it a little bit more, but of course, you're not supposed to.
Yeah. I mean, uh, would you agree to these three things in life? Why we're here? I think we're here. We're here to love, and we're here to fight, and we're here to have sex. Would you agree with that?
I don't know about have sex.
Those three things: love, fight, and sex.
Not necessarily. From my experience, from of course just ayahuasca.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess fight is there. To see the light, like for me, the part was we have light, so we can see who to fight. The family dynamic is important because that's how we keep going, and that's
I would say
how,
that's love.
yeah, it's part of love and that's part of sex. But for my idea, not necessarily the ayahuasca experience, is just part of it. Just because when you have a family and you go through that ayahuasca experience, I think it might be different because I kind of saw myself growing through my child's eyes, my son, and then me growing into being me as a man, and then but then there's the next part is if we are created by a higher being, it's just as a child becomes a man has to become what was their father, the higher part. So we're also there to become that part of the creator's essence. It's like we can't just like as humans, we can't just be a child the rest of our lives. I mean, it seems to be that's kind of what the powers of that be, the controllers of the masses want us to be, just stay as children and rely on them. The state will be our fathers, the government, and all our things. All we have to do is just listen and obey, and then we just get things that we want. But you don't grow into a man. You don't get the hardships and do things on your own. And then once you can do that and you can provide and just teach your children and how to become adults, and the next step is for us to move on from that, from becoming parents and teachers and having our children grow up to be adults. We're on the next path to become what our originators, our ancestors, all were trying to get us to become, which is the higher part of, I don't know, God consciousness, whatever that term might be. Just, I don't think if whatever God or deity that you believe in, I don't think they just want us to be just watching all these sports, and working all day, accumulating wealth and materialism, and having, just not having the family dynamic, not loving, not caring, not standing up for against evil or wrongdoing and things like that. I think we have a purpose on here, and we came here to help out, except I think when we have like a higher consciousness, something's lost in translation when we go to a lower consciousness. So we just have to figure it out and figure a way to get all of that.
This is hell. I mean, this is hell in a way, right?
It feels that way sometimes, but the thing is, there's beauty in where we live. There's a lot of love. We make of things how we want. I think the controllers of the masses try to make it think like we are in hell, but I don't think this is hell.
Okay. So like when it comes to like, the point of life, what would you say that is? Like a basic thing. It would be to love. It would be like,
I guess, I mean, love encompasses a lot of things. I mean, if you love, you care. If you care, you want to protect. If you protect, you have to protect from something, and that something is something that wants to violate, that wants to destroy, that wants to that focuses on, hey, there's that duality again.
So I see it from like a mental perspective that I don't try to get too into my emotions, I guess. But like when it comes to like the point, like the flat Earth plane is that black sun, like that Rufus Nigra in the center. So
Mm-hmm.
like our eyes, right? The point of our eyes is like the pupil, right? So that's like that center point. So like the point of life is neck and neck with the point of Earth, right? That compass is magnetizing towards the center, right? So I mean that's like the place you're supposed to make it to before you're dead. I mean, thankfully, this information is coming out. I mean, that's a place where I mean, it goes like this, man. Like the Garden of Eden and like heaven on earth. Like everybody is like free, to express themselves and live in peace. And I mean, I think that's like the mission, I guess, right? Say
Yeah,
make
but what do you
this place
think?
heaven on earth.
Do you think?
Or this lifestyle okay? Or, like eventually, if there is a reset system, we're just like it's like just like in the Matrix, right? I mean, the thing that was like the sixth simulation that Neo was in.
Yeah.
Was on.
Now, let me ask you the question here: if the controllers of the masses know about the center of the Earth and all of that, are they protecting it? Are they guarding it? Or are they trying to destroy it? What's their purpose with it?
I mean, there's higher beings protecting the North in my beliefs. They can't even play around like that. Their military is like nothing compared to the like they have like airbenders down there or something. I don't know. I'm getting a little too mythological, but
Yep.
like if they were to even try to play that game, they would lose. But you're talking about like beyond like the parallels, like the areas in the Arctic.
No,
Like
it's just more of like our say the government, the military system all over the world. They want if they want to prevent people from going there, or maybe do you don't see them as being powerful enough to take over whatever that is? Is their
take
intent?
over that land piece, or
Yeah, the center of their Earth, whatever it is. Do they
you
have
think it's a Mercator's projection with the four continents?
either those or the exact center where they state it's either a really huge tree that connects everything or a tower? They say it's
They say it's a Rufus Nigra.
yeah,
It's like this black
black
rock.
rock or black tower. Yeah. So
Yeah.
do you think that's just off limits? There's just too much power there that there's, say, even a nuclear weapon, if there was such a thing, wouldn't even affect it. You think they've tried? Do you think it's maybe that's where their power emanates from, or all the
I
things?
think I think I think their power is coming from like beyond the Antarctic wall. I think that's where the power is because like when it like legally like they're showing their intent. So like in the UN flag, they don't have like the North Pole in there.
Mm-hmm.
They only have the Antarctic areas. Where all the nations are down there and stuff. They have nothing in the North. Um, in my opinion, I may be wrong. But it's not in their interest to like blow up that area with a nuclear bomb or whatever. Like in particular, the Dark Tower,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what's keeping us like fixated here. That's what's keeping our hearts
So,
hardened and
so
stuck and dense.
so is
So
that
it's not in
something?
their
So do you
it's not
think?
in their interest.
So you think it's in our interest to have that destroyed?
Yeah, it's in our interest. Like if we're the pure hearts, it's in our interest for that to be destroyed. It is because like when it comes to like the chakras, right? Like the heart is like the center, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
like the fourth chakra, right? So like the center of the flat Earth plane is down there, right? And that's keeping our heart stony. That's like the ego calcified, and like this whole alchemical process and the occult. They all talk about like the philosopher's stone and stuff. That's our philosopher's stone. That's our like I made a video on my channel like about like comparing the Georgia Guidestones with the Rupert Negro and how they did a blood pact on top of the capstone, Georgia Guidestone. And, like you see the Georgia Guidestone, like they
Yeah.
got like it looks like Hyperborea, like with the four rivers. Like they have like these four walls.
Yep.
You know the Georgia Guidestones, like it's
Yep.
like,
I've seen
and
it.
then compare that to like to Mercator's projection. It's like the exact same outline,
Yeah.
like four in drawing seas. They
Ah,
have those walls.
I'm
So
gonna have
I
to take
mean,
another
they're
look.
they're they're just like imitating that energy from there, and they want to keep us stuck in this material plane. And ultimately, yeah, that's like one of like the thing about like your heart needs to be as light as a feather to like pass through
Mm-hmm.
and make it to the other side. Which like the other side, that's where the Idrisil, the tree of life, is,
In my interpretation, it's always been
or
you have to
something like
have
that.
a mind like a child or a childlike mind.
Yeah. But, like
And
your heart needs to be like needs to be as light as a feather. Like it needs to be like you can't be carrying burdens and like you know the things that we get programmed into believing here. Yes, like holding a grudge over someone,
yeah,
things like that. The way our ego develops here is quite toxic. I mean, there could be like over masculinity and like over femininity and stuff.
mm-hmm.
So like it has to do with everything. It has to do with like the mind, the body. Um, I mean, you have to be very somatically aware. So like making it there is. I mean, you're gonna get magnet. I mean, we're all connected to that black rock. So like this is like something, in my opinion, like it's something global. It's something that affects us all. I don't have the word in my head right now, but like yeah, the elite. I mean, they know this exists. This is real. So like it's more like a Game of Thrones reality.
Yeah,
Like they can't do something or else this is gonna happen, and they're gonna get this up their ass. So like it's like this like Texas Hold'em in a way.
they have a game plan they can't deviate from, and
Yeah.
we don't know what the repercussions are, but they seem to know what the repercussions are. Yeah,
Yeah, it could be like that. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's more tight than what we think, and like they want to make us believe that they're that Illuminati, one seeing eye.
mm-hmm.
Like they're the only ones with a cigar. You know,
Yeah. I feel like how everything's inverted and perverted, and they try to make us like the things that we should be not liking, and all the things that we don't like. They just keep making the opposite happen, and I think fear is part of that. They want us to be afraid of looking into and researching and exploring things that are like that's Satanism. It's evil.
yeah,
It's except that's the stuff that we should actually be looking in, and it's why is it associated as evil? I mean, nothing that's. I mean, intent is what evil is, but things that don't have, if it's just a tool, it doesn't have an alignment. I mean, a hammer isn't necessarily good or evil. It's just whoever wields that hammer, whatever that person's intent is, it does its evil actions or good actions, and we can't attribute that someone just using a hammer for evil purposes, the
yeah,
next person who wields that hammer, they're going to do evil things with it. That's not how things work. um
yeah. But, when it comes to like secret societies and things like that, they hide their intent. They don't make their intent public. That's what this whole
But sometimes the
So
easiest things to
this whole
hide
thing
it.
is about, I mean,
But
like the off-limit lands and stuff.
yeah, but sometimes they hide things in plain sight. It's like it's the easiest thing for them to hide is just keep it
Right.
in plain sight and saying, "Yeah, this is what that is." It's like, what's the big deal, right? And
Yeah,
people
but
are like,
they're not coming out. They're not coming out with the information.
"Yeah,
You know, someone's gonna have to do it. I mean, the information is already out there. I mean, in the history books, you know,
mhm.
it's all saved somehow. It just needs to get uploaded to the internet, and then it's gonna become this massive thing, I guess. Right?
I don't know. I think there's just
Like
too much."
flat Earth, like flat Earth. Flat
Yeah,
Earth took a while. Flat Earth. I found out about flat Earth in like about 2 years ago. But like there was already this thing on the internet.
yep.
Flat Earth.
Can you? Some people are asking for your channel. What's your channel?
Cloven E.
Okay.
Cloven E, like that. It's spelled CLOVEN space E.
Alright. Okay, a couple of videos you've been doing a lot
Yeah.
recently. Take a look. All right, cool. And I'll send people over to your channel.
But yeah, like I was saying, when it comes to like the fraternities and stuff, yeah, it's all like just like third party based. Like they want you to depend on these other individuals to pass down the knowledge, and you like stay in this, you know, infantile you know, stage for the rest of your life, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to like freedom of information, you know, the internet is the closest thing, but I think when it comes to the internet, I think we're like getting close to these like technocratic days where like YouTube becomes like this main platform, and like a newspaper stand,
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, something like that.
What's the end goal for the controllers of the masses? I guess is it to become their own god, external from the God consciousness, the most high type of thing? How we're all connected to that. They want to disconnect and become their own gods and more powerful, or is it just to keep the control mechanism going?
I mean, they're stuck in hell. They want to keep as ruling as long as possible in the flesh and getting all the pleasures of here in the third dimension, you know, and keep rebooting this thing up. Could be as simple as that. I mean, if they want, I mean, they're not that dumb to like turn themselves into cyborgs and robots. You know, they want their minions to do that. You know, like why would they do that, right? I mean, they would. I
They
mean, I
won't have
guess
the
just like,
pleasures of the flesh.
yeah, they want to have the pleasures of the flesh for as long as possible, forever. I mean, and that doesn't happen because like there's this natural cycle that Mother Nature has that kills everybody off. That could be like the mud flood stuff. Like if we don't get it, then like, you know, Mother Nature's just gonna have this main period, you know, discharge, you know, menstruation period to cleanse, to you know, that the earth, right? And the elite are aware of these cycles. That's the whole the Vedic, the Aryan, I mean the Native American legends. You know how we're just like living in cycles over and over again, right? Like history is repeating itself. And the elite, like they all know the ancient traditions. They've been trained,
Mm-hmm.
but like they can't bypass like the mainframe because like that would involve other things. Um, you
Yeah,
know,
I mean,
teaching us. I mean that's what the angels were made to do during creation. Like they were supposed to like be up there and like, you know, making the rivers, making the streams. They were like, yo, forget this, yo. I'm gonna go down there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
so like
That,
The book of Enoch talks about that. Like in Mount Hermon, like I think it was God was like this main angel. Like like they all got together and they came down to Mount Hermon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean they're like bound in chains right now or something. And the elite, I mean they're trying to wake them up. That's why like they're like in the Middle East, so, like they're buried down there or something. Like they're in chains. That's what the Book of Enoch says though, and like they'll be let loose during the end times, right? Like, every legend talks about this, like the Antichrist, the beast rising out of the sea. But like that's kind of trivial in a way. I mean, like when it comes to like you know carrying your cross, carrying your compass, yeah, it's back to the center.
The thing
You know,
is with the whether it's the second coming of Jesus or whatever external
the second
entity.
coming. I mean, the second coming of the Christs of
Yeah.
the that's coming back from Eden. That's coming back from Hyperborea, because it says in the Bible, it's like
Well,
you
but
shall know them by the fruits.
yep, I know. What I'm trying to get at is
Oh, okay, okay.
what's the point of that? What's the point of the in between? If at the end it's just going to be ended by the Most High anyway. So what's the point from beginning of all the mess, all the creation, to all the angels falling, to humans being here and not
Yeah.
getting what we're supposed to be here for, and then all of a sudden, well, if the Most High already knows what's going to happen, why does the Most High keep repeating the same thing? And what's the point of from then to now?
The
Or-
toilet needs to get unclogged. I mean, that's how I see it. I mean, once the toilet's unclogged, then it's gonna be up to us to not clog it again.
But what's the
So like
point
water
of?
flows freely.
But what's the point of
it is-
that? Why does he keep flushing the toilet for us? I
I
mean,
mean, it's probably our fault. It's probably not even God. I mean, do you really think it's like? I mean, he's the creator. I mean, there's the creator and there's God.
okay.
I think we probably like mess up ourselves with our own ego.
All right. So, like I like talking all this stuff. Naturally. Now, when you're talking about creating, you're talking about like the very first essence, I guess, that created everything.
There's two different things. There's two
Yep.
different things. Like there's like Jehovah, and he wants to make you think he's the creator. Like this all goes with the Gnostics and
Yeah.
stuff.
Like
So, they're two distinct
like a
things.
demiurge.
Yeah. So like
So-
we're in that demiurge mentality. We just gotta get out of that thing. Like
So-
we just connect to source, and
Yeah.
it's
So
our asses that are okay.
so the source created demiurge, the god.
When it comes, well, that's a good question, man. When it comes to the source, we're like the mirror reflection of the source, and like when we get into our ego, we're creating these like fourth dimensional entities that actually exist in the fourth realm, and they're subject to God. Everything comes from nothingness, like where it says in the Bible, like from the void. I can't call it, but right, the void of creation. So like we all come from that, but it's only like when we take it serious that like these like fourth dimensional entities come to life from our own birth, from our own ego. You just have to learn to differentiate that. Everything goes back to 0 point. That's pretty much it. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it's a mirror reflection of like this ray of creation that's always going to exist there. And the more dense you go, the more real like beliefs like manifest. When you get closer to the center, you differentiate from the demiurge and the source.
Mhm. What limitations does the demiurge have?
I mean, it can't create. That's one. It makes the illusion of creation.
Okay, just illusion. So we are creator beings. We're from the source. We're not created by the demiurge.
I mean, if you have a soul, there's a soul and there's a spirit. So I mean, that's the whole thing about the Matrix. You know, I don't know if everyone here is a creator or is with the source or not. Some of us are, some of us aren't. It's just like in the Matrix, like the Matrix, Agent Smiths and
Yeah.
Neos
How
and
do
Trinities and stuff.
do you know how we would be able to differentiate between the two? Like
I mean, it's like flat Earth, right? It's like if you're resonating with this information, then like you must be in the spirit. I mean, you must. I mean, you're aware that you're different. It has to be that. I mean, it's that simple. I mean, when it comes to like going to a guru and meditating and having out of body experiences, I don't know, it's too personal and stuff. You just have to be a spiritual person, I guess.
one thing that I always ask, I always find it odd, is that it always seems to be one person from a family, but like usually family members like brothers and sisters and or cousins, we don't ever seem to have the same. We like there's no like two or three people that are like brothers and sisters that are like, oh, we're all flat earthers, we all understand, we're all woke, whatever. Like, do you have any siblings or anything like that?
Yeah, I do. They're living their lives. I respect their beliefs. Um, I haven't really chatted with them
Okay,
about it,
so they don't have see this.
but like they could care less though.
Okay,
Yeah,
they don't see things the way you see things.
yeah. I mean, they're professionals, and
Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to get into it, but like,
I
yeah,
know.
I mean, yeah, they already know, the type of stuff I'm looking into because I've been like this ever since I was young, like ever since they know my cousins, my brothers, like conspiracy theory guy. Now it's just now if I were to talk to them about this, it'd just be exaggerated.
Yeah.
You know,
Do you think we're?
so is that black duckling?
Yeah. Do you, I don't know. It's like I always wonder why it's always that way. I mean, I can understand when kids raise
It,
their.
it has it has to do with astrology too. Like in my opinion, like
Okay.
astrology plays a big component when it comes to like your consciousness, your psychology, and the way you perceive reality. How you interact with others. Astrology, of course, if you're spiritual, then like you'd bypass that process. But when it comes to like basic um, human understanding, yeah, astrology plays an important role. You know, I'd say.
Is there like a specific part within astrology that
Oh yeah, like
accounts for that?
an Aries thinks different, um, say than a Pisces. A Cancer thinks different than a Sagittarius. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, people resonate. At levels they're familiar with, and astrology encompasses that in a way. So it could be just that basic, get along, go along, I guess, right? Things like that. Like for instance, like I was watching, Martin Kenny, Martin Kenny, like he's a flat earther. He made the like cosmic egg. You heard that channel?
No.
Okay, so like you said, like beyond the Antarctic wall, like the suns or like the orbs that are in dominion over that realm are Venus and Mars. Here, it's the sun and moon, right? Which are this kingdom is principally for Aries, Leos, and Cancers, and like in the four continents, right? In Hyperborea, like the last orb is Mercury, and it revolves 88 days.
Mm-hmm.
So a year is 88 days down there, and that's why they age less and they live longer. I think I did the math, but I don't have it at the top of my head. But then like you begin to like do the math, and like you get like the biblical like Adam or like Enoch lived for like the 600 years mark and stuff. And it happens around like
I can
possible.
see that.
A year is like 88 days. So like a year down there, or like wait, let me see. Yeah, 4 years down there is a year. It's a year here, right? And like 88 days down, like 88 is like our average lifespan in this realm, right? So like you can like if you were to do the math, you can see that they're living like way longer in those places called Hyperborea, like beyond the north wind,
Yeah, all
with Mercury being their ruling orb planet. And then it's the black sun, like the black hole in the center, the Rufus Negro.
what makes you think it's Saturn, the black sun?
Because it's a whirlpool. It's an indrawing sea, and the black sun is dielectric. So like it's what's sustaining our reality. So like an electric current happens, and center there's always like a plasma ball.
Hello?
Like a plasma ball.
But why the shape like the Saturn, the black cube of Saturn?
Yeah.
Is it a cube? Is it a hexagon? Is it a crisscross, which is a hexagon? Like how do you describe it as being Saturn in that way, or is like literally, or sorry, just focusing. Or
Saturn is like the rim. When it that's the realm we live in. We live under like circular discs, like like the Mayan pyramids, like how like there's this, and then another square is bigger. That's our representation of the cube. Like like rings of Saturn.
yep.
It's like a band, right, or something like that. So like yeah, we're living like in the rings of Saturn. It's in this domain. That's like the last classical planet.
Yeah.
I think it was like the first like first one to be created. Right? Have you seen I think it was like what's that channel, man? Thunderbolts channel. Yeah, they go into that history,
Yeah.
that
A lot of people
cosmological thing.
a lot of
Yeah,
people like to follow the Thunderbolts, and I used to
yeah,
look
they
into
talk
it, but
about that a lot.
I don't agree with a lot of the things that Thunderbolts has, especially the model of a universe. And
Oh yeah, you gotta mash it up, right? Like you gotta, if you're a flat earther, of course, I don't agree with their, heliocentric model. But you need to like, I think it's that, um, eat the meat, spew out the bones. Hello?
yeah, I didn't get.
Yes. You just have to eat the meat and spew out the bones.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, things like that.
Do you don't see them as part of the controlled opposition or sellouts or whatever you want to call it, is to get people to be interested in it and telling the truth, but then kind of formulating a couple of lies here and there. But then how would you know the rest of the stuff that they're saying could be true? I mean, it's all theoretical. It just kind of sounds
I mean, the elite. I mean, the elite heavily put emphasis on Saturn worship.
Yep.
So like they, what they're doing is benefiting them in a way, right? So like they're giving honor to that, to Saturn, and they eventually have to put um their truth out in the open, so that Saturn can give them credence to this domain even more. So they're just like Pontius Pilate, washing their hands. At the end of the day, I mean, they have like these black cubes like in the major cities, and they're just worshiping Saturn. Um, they're trying to emanate that energy to this realm. So, whether they're sold out or not, I think it doesn't really matter. I guess. I mean, as long as like the information is resonating. Like I think like the Hyperborea thing and the portal in the north is like it's the pit stop. I mean, that's the main that's the Pokemon stop.
Mhm.
We're supposed to go now. That's the main that they're trying to get us away from that. I think
Yep.
that's everything is designed to keep. Let's give them ancient aliens. Let's give them occult knowledge. Let's give them all these cybernetics to keep them away from there.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's very mythical. It's very mythical. I think
Yeah. I mean,
it's very
look, they'll show the geographic North Pole, and there's nothing there. They put like the red and white barber pole there, and a bunch of flags. Same with the South Pole. Then they'll say like the magnetic pole isn't very powerful. Yet the poles are the magnetic poles of any planet, or especially like the Earth, is there to prevent solar flares, to protect from solar flares, and a couple of other things. Yet it's so that's like one of the things you'd have to do, have on Mars if we colonize Mars and their globe universe heliocentric model. But then they'll say, yeah, we've got a magnetism, man-made magnets, research facilities in Florida that's like a couple million times stronger or something like that than the magnetic North Pole, and the North Pole, magnetic North Pole, which no one ever sees. Never take pictures of it, videos. They have maybe someone flying over it, a pilot, and showing their compass reading going haywire, and that's it.
Yeah.
But you would think that they would explore or have more videos of there. It should be easier to get to than the moon, which they went 6 out of 6 times, and which they can't go back. They could go to the magnetic North Pole and just do a lot of scientific experiments and saying, "Hey, look, this is kind of cool. We got this natural magnet based on the molten lava or what molten iron core, whatever it is that they say is not molten anymore." But I mean, yeah, I think that's like the one thing that they are hiding.
Yeah, because I mean, it has to do with diplomacy. They have to introduce themselves, and when they do that, they're gonna lose their power. They're gonna lose their rulership in this domain, because being told that you're not doing things the right way. I mean, that's a crush on your ego, and that's something that the elite just don't want to let go. They'd rather stay here controlling and on the reset,
Mm-hmm.
recycling the system over and over again. 'Cause the step that the closer we get to the center, the closer we find out, the sooner our salvation will be,
Yeah.
or freedom, disclosure. That's what everyone wants. I mean, disclosure, for God's sake.
Yeah. But some people don't want it. Like, do you think your brothers or your sisters, your siblings would want it? They like things the way they are now, don't they?
Yeah, I guess, man. I guess. I mean, they're like Cipher from the Matrix. Well, I mean, they haven't sold out or anything like that,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
mean, I can see why. I mean, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's just like eventually something's gonna happen, and they're gonna say enough is enough. But like, you know, it could just take one person to change this reality. I mean,
True.
it's that crazy.
Like
You know, it's
and just it could just be
it. Yeah, you just piss off this one Neo, and like, okay, you guys messed up. Okay, we messed up. Okay, we gotta not chemtrail them too hard, or next time.
yeah.
Like we gotta not do this next time. They have their their research groups.
They're what do they call them? There's like a formal term for it.
Yeah, test groups or something. I don't know.
It's like a brain or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It's late. It's a 2.5 hour live stream. I wanted to get some rest. I was tired a while ago, but thank you for stopping in to chat. Definitely do it more often if you have a chance. And people check out Clover E, something E. I just let's see. I know it's somewhat similar to that. Cloven E. I'm sorry. Do you have like a reason why you picked that name?
No, not really. Just sounds good.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody.
All
Thank you. And we'll talk later. Thanks. Thank you, everybody in chat. All right. See you later.